Hello, Astrid from House of Death. Today I would like to do a review for Tarot Illuminati, which is quite famous deck. I believe it was kind of like all over the place past 2 years. And I'm using it for about half a year, so I was thinking after half a year I would like to share my opinions about it, my feelings about it, and my, let's say, recommendations for whom I would recommend the deck. This deck is done by artist Erik Dunne, and the lady who is behind the book that comes with it and the symbology is Huggens, which is quite well known author of a book, Tarot 101, and loads of articles. So I think both of those are extremely talented, and I think it's great they actually got together for making a tarot deck. So first thing I would say about this tarot deck is something that's quite obvious, and that is that extremely visually elaborate. As you can see, like, the cards are just full of symbology, of the things, of the colors. Even the backs are extremely elaborate. As you can see, it's like a lot of gold and bright colors, and definitely this is like you know, over the top and about 1 kilometer above that. So as you can see, the cards are extremely beautiful. The deck is borderless. It has gold borders. If you look, you can see it's metallic, sparkles. I'm not sure how much you see it on the video, but yeah, it sparkles. It's technically speaking Rider-Waite, but it's basically following the Rider-Waite system. But I wouldn't say it's completely Rider-Waite like. I would say some cards are closer to its original Rider-Waite system, maybe ancestor. Some of them are a bit more far and kind of like having more added layers. Let's say if you have, this is the Radiant Rider-Waite, and this is Illuminati. So if you can see, this is Empress card. So some cards, you know, some symbology, some cards are similar. As you can see, there's the field, that's similar. She's sitting on the throne. There's like this heart with the Venus symbol on both of them. So it's kind of a close, but not entirely. Then you have, let's say, this one, Hermit. I would say the Hermit is one of the ones that's getting the closest to the original Rider-Waite. So, but if you kind of look at it, that's how I feel about it. I'm not fond of original Rider-Waite. I think it's terribly flat and not very inspiring. So for me, the original Rider-Waite more looks like really like a sketch or outline for the Tarot Illuminati. I would say the Tarot Illuminati might be very good for people who are reading intuitively, because it looks like there's like, it's actual like a picture from a story. You like have like one video from the whole story, and if you kind of look at the card, you can kind of feel and see the whole story kind of like reeling in front of you. So I think for people who are reading just purely intuitively, this might be a good deck, because I found it extremely like intuition and creativity and triggering. I would also say it might be actually good for beginner, because you know, the Hermit is about self-discovery, occasionally solitude, maybe feelings alone, but kind of finding your own light. And this is kind of like a meanings that you can kind of see in that card. You don't have to kind of know what the Hermit is about. You can kind of figure out. And I think I found most of the cards being like this. And so I would definitely recommend it to beginners, because I think with such a live imagery, it's easier to kind of remember the meanings of the cards. Another thing that actually I've noticed about the deck is that when I first got it, I actually thought the cards are much bigger than the usual Scarborough size. But then when I actually got the two cards together, which this is a Magical Forest, that's pretty much standard Los Scarborough size, and this is the Tarot Illuminati. So you can see it's a bit bigger, but not by much. I think the cards are just basically looking much bigger than they are, because the imagery is so elaborate, and also they are borderless. So you kind of have this feeling like the cards are bigger than they actually are. So I find it actually quite nice because they shuffle quite nicely, and I have quite small hands, but they can still hold quite nicely. Definitely the paper, I would say, is thicker than the usual Scarborough. So you can see this is like the Law Scarborough usual, just kind of bendy and glossy. This one is definitely, you can see, stiffer. It doesn't bend that easily. As a result, when you actually have the whole deck in your hands, it's quite thick. So it depends. I would definitely, if you can have a chance to try it, if this might be a bit too much of a deck for you, like too heavy, not too thick. I'd say I personally have no problems with it. I guess if you have really small hand, or are you younger, then might be a bit problem for you to shuffle the cards. Another thing that I actually really like about the deck, that's how basically heavy it is, with symbology of many different kinds. Let's say the High Priestess. There's loads of symbology. Loads of symbology is going into this card, with the moon, and actually, and the two pillars, the Torah, and the High Priestess herself. But I think for people who just don't know what it means, they kind of at least can tell, like, this lady looks mysterious and she looks quite wise. So I think for people who just kind of like the symbology, knows the symbology, it's more like, I know what you've done there. And for people who just don't, I think it, just find the card appealing and interesting and kind of let their own imagination flow. I don't have the original box because I have the deck for about half a year, but as far as I can remember, the box is quite sturdy, and actually I think it makes a really nice gift. Not many decks are actually coming with the nice boxes, so you can give it to somebody with the nice books, so you can give it to your friend who is beginning with tarot, who's just never heard about tarot before. So it's a nice like start kit that basically would get somebody going. So that's how I found that the Tarot Illuminati is actually a great gift, and I gave it to a few of my friends because of the nice book that it's coming with, and a book that kind of explain the meaning of the cards even for beginner. What I have instead, because I don't have the box anymore, actually after I got the box and I got the small little book that came in the box, I actually decided to order the complete guide to Tarot Illuminati by Kim, and I was completely mesmerized by this book. I like the deck, but this book is absolutely beyond anything. As you can see, the book is basically no imagery. No, it's like no images in it. It's literally 400 pages of a text. So good thing is that you can read it and use it for any Rider-Waite based deck, so you don't have to get this book, and if you, let's say, don't have a Tarot Illuminati, you can just get the book and read about it. But it's extremely in-depth. I didn't find any of the information, I would say, ununderstandable. I think it's slightly more advanced, so at least if you kind of have a vague understanding of Kabbalah, astrology, then you can find a lot in it. But this book, I would say, my personal opinion, this is my favorite book on tarot, and I think it's the best book I've read about tarot, and I've read a lot. So that would be my definitely recommendation if you're into tarot, to get this book, even if you don't have a Tarot Illuminati. As far as I know, Erik and Kim are now working on the new deck. You can follow them on the Facebook, and they'll keep posting pictures about it. I think they want to release it in 2016. And that one looks quite interesting too. But I'm sure I'm going to show more cards. This is 10 of Cups. As you can see, very over the top, very colourful. Let's say I'm not using this deck every day. I'm using it on events. For me, let's say it's visually very heavy and very strong and very appealing. It's like a dynamite deck. So I'm not using it every day. For every day I have more calm decks, but I'm using it very often on events and if I want to impress. So this is definitely dress to impress type of a deck. Anyway, if you have your own experience or ideas about this deck, please let me know in the comment section below. If you have it, for how long do you have it, how do you find it, how do you find the size, how do you find the paper, how do you find the imagery, what's your favorite cards. Let's say my favorite cards from the deck is definitely the moon card. That would be my personal favorite. I love the imagery. I love the sun hidden by the moon, and I love the face on the moon, and I kind of like the colors. And so the moon card is one of my favorite cards from the deck. I also like the strength card, but I usually like the strength card. With the lion and the girl, how she's like very gentle, and you can basically tell that the symbol is basically she's doing it with her hand, so you can see how she's getting stronger and magically empowered with the infinity symbol. I also like the devil's card a lot. As you can see, the devil card is really like very interesting. You have this like this quite pretty muscly guy and Capricorns all over the place. So that would be my favorite card. So please, if you have yours, please let me know in the comment section below. Also, this is like a new series, so I had the new idea about making a tarot deck reviews. So if you would have any ideas about what decks you would like us to do, please again let me know in the comment section below. We've been actually thinking about doing like really nice and thorough review of the Thought tarot deck, not just the visual side but also the symbology, and really go much deeper into this deck. So let us know if this would be something you would be interested in too. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please share your ideas. If you like our channel, please subscribe. We also have the monthly divinations, which are in our playlist for each sun sign, so if you'd be interested, please have a look at that too. And I'll be looking forward to see you with my next review or with the tarot monthly divinations.